Did you know? The Upper Peninsula of Michigan is known for its long, snowy winters, rugged terrain, and deep connection to outdoor recreation. Among its most iconic winter traditions is snowmobiling, a sport, a mode of transportation, and an economic driver that has shaped the region for over half a century. From its early days as a practical tool for traversing deep snow to its modern role in tourism and racing, snowmobiling in the UP has a rich and fascinating history. Before the invention of the modern snowmobile, winter travel in the Upper Peninsula was challenging. Residents relied on snowshoes, dog sleds, or even large clunky snow machines designed for industrial use. That changed in the late 1950s when Joseph Armand Bombardier, a Canadian inventor, introduced the first mass-produced snowmobiles. His company Ski-Doo and others like Polaris and Arctic Cat quickly made these lightweight personal machines more accessible to everyday people. At first, snowmobiles were used primarily for practical purposes. Hunters, trappers, loggers, and rural residents found them invaluable for navigating the deep snow. The Up's harsh winters and heavy lake-effect snowfall made these machines a game-changer, allowing people to move more easily across frozen landscapes. But it wasn't long before snowmobiling transformed from a necessity to a form of recreation. By the mid-1960s, the UP saw a growing enthusiasm for snowmobiling beyond its utility. Riders began exploring trails and small communities started organizing informal races. What began as a means of winter travel quickly evolved into a high-speed sport. One of the most significant developments was the founding of the International 500 race in Sault Ste. Marie in 1969. Inspired by the Indianapolis 500, the I-500 became one of the most challenging endurance races in the sport, covering 500 miles of high-speed frozen terrain. It remains one of the most prestigious snowmobile races in the world today, drawing top competitors and thousands of spectators. During this period, local snowmobile clubs also began forming, advocating for dedicated trails and organized riding areas. Towns in the UP recognized the economic potential of snowmobiling, and by the 1970s, Michigan's Department of Natural Resources had developed a formal snowmobile trail system. This was a turning point as it transformed the UP into a premier snowmobiling destination. By the 1980s, snowmobiling was no longer just a pastime, it was a major economic driver for the Upper Peninsula. With its heavy, consistent snowfall, the region became a go-to destination for riders from Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and beyond. Local businesses, including hotels, restaurants, and gas stations, flourished during the winter months, catering to the influx of snowmobilers. During this time, the state significantly expanded its groomed trail network. By the 1990s, Michigan boasted one of the most extensive interconnected snowmobile trail systems in the U.S., much of it running through the UP's forests, frozen lakes, and small towns. Many of these trails were maintained by volunteer clubs, which worked closely with the state to keep routes safe and well-groomed. Advancements in snowmobile technology also contributed to the sport's growth. Newer machines became faster, more efficient, and easier to ride, attracting even more enthusiasts to the region. At the same time, regulations were introduced to balance recreation with environmental conservation, ensuring trails were maintained responsibly. Today, the UP is considered one of the best snowmobiling destinations in the country, with over 3,000 miles of groomed trails connecting towns, forests, and scenic areas. The sport continues to evolve, with improvements in GPS mapping, mobile apps for trail conditions, and advanced grooming equipment keeping the experience safe and enjoyable. Snowmobile racing also remains a key part of UP culture.